DuBois Sandy Joint Board meeting. Everyone please rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, I would ask that we all take a moment of silence. Thank you. Roll call.
Abbott.
Here.
Augenbaugh. Spears.
Here.
Dietz.
Here.
Gelfand.
Here.
Jackson. Here. Malika.
Here.
Whitaker.
Here.
Reesinger. Is he on the phone?
Pat on the phone.
Is Pat on the phone?
Pat. Sullivan.
Here.
He's in.
Okay, announcements this evening. We did have an executive session February 4th. We had discussion on collective bargaining and legal counsel. At this time, we have no open positions. Some notices, financial disclosures are due May 1st. Temporary office moves. I find that I need a scorecard to keep track of these. Ben, can you update us?
Yeah, that's fair. There's been a lot of movement lately due to the construction at the city building, and so many of the people are getting moved around between that building, will be moved to the S&T Bank across the street, and or the township building. And so finding who you're looking for can be different every day. The main thing that we want to note is that next Wednesday and or Thursday, the treasurer's office, utility bills, claims, all of that will be moving from the city building across the street to the old S&T building. And therefore, the computers will be down, there will be no office furniture, and so it's possible if you stopped in that we would be able to help, but it's also entirely possible that they'll be in transition. And so, to some extent, I guess we're just saying we'll be closed for the most part on Wednesday, Thursday, as we move people around. Again, you could try, but I can't guarantee that we'll be there and available. We'll be there, but probably walking between the buildings.
Okay, thank you.
I also have a quick update on the vacancies, which is next.
Okay.
Corby's done a great job of researching all of the many boards that the city has and the vacancies on that board, all of those boards. The one that we're ready to announce that we're looking for people will be the 3 vacancies that are on the city's zoning hearing board. There are going to be other positions that we will be probably asking for volunteers to fill, but at this time, we haven't had a chance to go approach the people that previously held it and see if they would like to be reappointed. So we're still in limbo on those.
You're on a roll. Do you want to touch on our
On the
venue
venue.
for upcoming meetings?
Because I think you can all tell, it would be better if we were in a bigger space. And so I announced last time that it was probable that we would be scheduled for our March meetings at DuBois Penn State campus in the auditorium. At least for that month, that is now almost for sure. So you can all just plan on it. We haven't actually signed the paperwork and yet, but given the price and everything, we were definitely thinking that that's going to be a better alternative so that we don't have, 24 people standing. So, yeah, at least. So yes, next month, expect to be over at DuBois at the auditorium. I'm sorry, the campus, the auditorium.
Okay. At this time, I will hear public comments on agenda items. Please state your name. Ma'am?
Shirley DeRouge, Executive Director of Downtown DuBois. I am here tonight to express my strong opposition to granting a conditional use for the proposed skilled gaming location at 333 West Long Avenue, located within our downtown district. Our community is already experiencing an oversaturation of such establishments, which has led to growing concerns about the unfavorable activities they attract and the negative side effects their presence has had on our neighborhoods and local businesses. The increasing number of skilled gaming locations has raised issues related to public safety, economic impact, and overall community well-being. Many residents and business owners have observed a decline in the quality of our downtown environment, including reports of disruptive behavior, increased loitering, and other concerns that negatively affect the character of our community. Currently, on behalf of Downtown DuBois, Inc., I am working with Scott Muirhead, MBA at Penn State DuBois, Ilana Ballrich, Program Director at Penn State University's Sustainable Communities Collaborative, and other interested leaders in our region, and as the students conduct research examining the use of skilled game machine locations in Pennsylvania. This research project has quickly gained the attention, and I was contacted by the Executive Director of the PA Housing Gaming Oversight Committee, as they are highly interested in the data collected and our analysis of it, and asked to be added to our contact list, as well as offering assistance as needed. As we work diligently to provide a solution to a statewide problem at hand, City Council approving and supervisors, approving another skilled gaming location would only exacerbate these existing challenges rather than contribute to efforts we are working towards to promote the positive growth and development of our downtown. I urge you to consider these concerns and deny the conditional use request to protect the integrity and future of our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy?
On that same issue, I'd like to call your attention to the zoning for that area, which is highway commercial. And I'd like you to call attention to the ordinance which governs that zone, and tell me where you can find any place that really accommodates this type of recreation. It was never meant for that, I know, because I've been around a long time. And we almost continued the central business district to Main Street. There are several areas that are not, consistent with what they should be zoned. It's that and partial and part of Main Street. So I wish you would read the ordinance and see where you feel that fits in.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Mrs. Mecklin?
Debbie Meckling, Monroe Street. I'd like to agree with what Shirley is saying, and I don't think it would be a positive addition to our downtown to change the zoning on West Long Avenue. And in light of the fact that the owner who is looking into this second location, his first location is on 12 East Long Avenue, and he presently has a violation. And that, in my opinion, if he is not compliant with his first location, what's to say it's going to be any different if he has a second location? And our downtown is the face of our community, and we need to encourage a better optic than what we have right now. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, moving along. We're going to deviate from the posted agenda and skip ahead to number 3, special presentations. Then we will go back to number 2, police chief, oath of office. We have with us District Judge Dave Mahalik, who will do the honors.
Yes, as one of my official duties as magisterial district judge, it is to perform swearing-in ceremonies of newly elected and/or newly hired and/or appointed public officials. So I'm here this evening to perform the oath of office for Chris Krajalik, who is currently the Sandy Township Chief of Police, and pursuant to, I understand, preliminary arrangements by this governing board here. He is being appointed and assigned the organizational and operational chief of police for the city of DuBois as a day forward and going forward until the merger comes to full fruition here. So we'll take care of that here this evening. Without further ado, Chief, if you want to, I think it's most appropriate if we maybe do this over by the flag.
Sure.
Okay, without further ado then, Chief, if I could have you raise your right hand, please, sir. Repeat after me. I, Christopher Krzelik,
I, Christopher Krzelik,
hereby swear or affirm
hereby swear or affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Pennsylvania,
and the ordinances of the city of DuBois.
and the ordinances of the city of DuBois.
I will discharge my duties
I will discharge my duties
as a police officer
as a police officer
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
I will also acknowledge
I will also acknowledge
that I will uphold,
that I will uphold,
obey,
obey,
and enforce the law
and enforce the law
without consideration
without consideration
to a person
to a person
or individuals,
or individuals,
race,
race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
condition,
condition,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
national origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap,
handicap,
and/or disability.
and/or disability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you.
You want to stop by the office? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, folks.
I understand a large number of you are here for just this swearing in. If you would like to take leave right now, we'll hold the meeting for a few seconds. Thank you for attending. Back up to number 2 on the agenda, consent agenda. We need motion to approve joint board minutes from January 15th.
So move.
Second. Properly moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Township Municipal Authority minutes.
The rest of those are just for information only.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was a joint board special meeting on the 10th. That should also be approved.
So move on the joint board special meeting.
Second. Properly moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I lost my agenda.
Next is the fiscal reports, which are just for
I got
information only.
Again, fiscal reports, City of DuBois, February 17th, Township State Fund bills, Township Authority bills, Penvest payment request, City auto drafts again, Township auto drafts, City revenue budget actuals, City expenditures budget actuals, Township budget actuals, Township Authority budget actuals, Township collection report for January 2025, Municipal building pay number 1, and Municipal building pay number 2. All of these can be found on our website. Each individual municipality will take action on them at their meetings later. The only thing we are voting on as a board here is the joint consolidation. I fat-fingered myself.
Sorry.
Hey, Ben, I need assistance. Here, can you get out of this? Okay. Department reports, we can also find these on our websites, information technology, public works. Scott, I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add?
It's been a hard winter, to say the
Okay.
least.
Planning and zoning, Zach, anything to add?
A lot going on.
I know it's short notice, but how about Chief? Do you have anything to add for the police department?
No.
Okay. DuBois Fire, Chief?
Fighting the weather, just be careful out there. We've had a lot of car wrecks in the city and also in the township as well, so slow down, be safe.
Okay. Under correspondence, we have a request to advertise a public hearing.
Zach, that would be you.
Yeah, so there's a lot consolidation in Treasure Lake, and it requires a public hearing because it is in the planned residential development area of the township. So we just need authorization to advertise for that public hearing and get everything going there so we can finish up the lot consolidation.
Okay, we will take action on that at our meeting later tonight, and I'll let you know tomorrow. County tax claim notifications, we receive these monthly. So I would think I'm probably looking for a motion to receive and file the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Special presentations, we've already done the police. The other presentation this evening, GCED fire study. I see Levi Hips is here with us.
Are there any
I'm gonna move to this side because I don't have my glasses and I can't see that far.
Okay. Levi, can I interrupt you for a second? I missed, after correspondence, we had some proclamations. Those were DuBois City.
So this is both. The lockbox, actually, it's not a proclamation. It's just an announcement. In the past, you probably would have sent your taxes directly to the township building or utility bills to the township building or to the city PO box. And we have signed up for a lockbox, and the lockbox is gonna have an address that's not even here. It'll be something like New Jersey or somewhere, depending on the bank that it's going to. The idea is that you will send your utility payments to that PO box. The bank will receive it and be able to directly input your payment information directly into our bank account, but also transfer the information into our new accounting system. So it's going to save us a lot of administrative time if we don't have to open up the mail, input the payment into the system, then go do a deposit, if instead the bank's just doing it all in one step. And so this is just an announcement that when you get your utility payments and it has a weird address like in New Jersey or something, it is legitimate. It is a form of us saving some time. And that goes for both the city and the township. There'll be different addresses though for the remainder of the year.
Okay, now you're up, Levi.
So good evening, everybody. My name is Levi Hips. I am fire peer consultant for the state of Pennsylvania for the department in the DCED.
Can you speak up, please?
I can sure try, yes. So I'm here tonight just to give a quick update. We were asked for an update, and I can just share with you some information that we have. The full study is not available yet, but it should be soon, and I'll talk about that as we go through. So. One of the things so what we've come to a conclusion was, and with meeting with all the different firemen and stations and chiefs and everything, and I think some of this is stuff that's well known by the whole group, but we need to move toward a unified department in one department. So right now, technically, there's nine stations or 9 departments with bylaws and everything, with everybody under their own. So it's going to be important to move toward that. Obviously, we want to promote interoperability, creating a unified organization that will help with the collaboration, streamline operations, improve overall effectiveness during responses. Because the one thing is we want to put apparatus and personnel on the street when there is an emergency, but sometimes too much is also a hindrance. Maximize funding opportunities, so operating as a single department so that there's one. Which makes you eligible for more grants and other resources that can go out there, and enhance services to the residents. And that's the main goal in the fire service. It actually is customer service, believe it or not. And that's kind of the way that we need to, as we're moving forward in the future, as the fire service, think about what we provide. So some of the things, obviously with bylaws in a department unification, so we just need to ensure there's a seamless transition. To make sure that they're operating efficiently and following the bylaws as they're recommended. Unified department structure, so all stations should be formally incorporated under the new unified department. This actually it's actually a merger, is what you're looking at. No, it is a consolidation. So help streamline decision-making process, improve operational efficiency, and establish standardized procedures across all the stations. Stations and personnel, it's imperative that all the stations and their respective personnel are fully aligned with the new operational model. This will facilitate a smooth transition, promote cohesion amongst the members, and ensure a consistent approach to the service delivery. Leadership continuity and term limits. So our suggestion here is to maintain stability and to and continuity within the leadership is that we are suggesting that they abolish the term limits for key leadership positions. This approach will enable experienced leaders to provide long-term guidance, ensuring steady progress and effective management for future organizational developments. And we feel this is going to be key because you're going to basically be building a whole new entity, so to speak. And, a person in a position for a specified amount of years may not be enough to keep the continuity and to be able to achieve the main goal in the end. So there's some immediate actions that we would like to recommend tonight that can be started on immediately. And this is our suggestion that, there's a joint board or a committee appointed by the joint board to start moving forward with some of this process. Our suggestion is 2 elected officials, 1 for each municipality, not affiliated with the fire department. 2 designated fire chiefs from each municipality. And then our other suggestion is a person from each station or department that is out there now. Our suggestion would be the president, but that, that's something that can be looked at, because I believe you've already started and have a joint committee or that's been out there that's just, we're ready to start work on the suggestions. Bylaws, obviously, to establish and adopt bylaws to define the operational framework of the new department, and then property and equipment. And our suggestion on this is that all property and equipment be formally turned over to the city of DuBois. This would centralize ownership and accountability for repairs, upkeep, and also, the ownership of the apparatus. Future recommendations are obviously you'll have to develop standard operating guidelines and procedures to move forward. And we're saying future, but it can't be that far in the future, right? It's just some second steps. And then also a standardized set of qualifications as part of the bylaws to be established for all line officer positions to ensure competency, leadership, preparedness, and operational effectiveness within the department. So. The recommended immediate action items will also be outlined in further detail in the final report, but we feel that there is the ability to be able to start on some of that stuff. We are nearing completion. So it had some challenges with some data and different things that we were asking for, and we've asked for more than we normally would, I guess, so to speak. But thanks to Chief Runyon, I got one item just emailed to me here this evening. Chief Beers, I will get with you to get your email real quick because we may have what I would need from your department, and it might have been missed, so I just want to make sure on that. And then we just have one more ask from the city of DuBois, which is the most recent ISO report. So what we're looking at is we're digging into this deeper in certain ways because in the end, there was already a fire study done in the city of DuBois here a few years back, right? And so we didn't go through the full fire study. I don't need to tell you how many residents there are in each municipality. You already know all that stuff. But we're here to work on the department and moving forward as one entity to better serve the residents for the new city of DuBois. That's all I have.
Okay, we're not looking to take any action on this report this evening. Levi, maybe a couple questions.
Okay.
The final report, you're thinking maybe...
Our drop dead goal was the end of March. But we're hoping to be able to finalize it within the next couple of weeks, and it's very possible that we'll be able to do that.
Perhaps the third Wednesday of March, that would be our next meeting?
Let's say we'll have it to you before then.
Okay.
And then we'll have to set up a date to be able to present that, and usually it would be, with all the fire departments, and then whoever else you would want to be there.
I would think we might want to do that if we're talking all the departments, our new venue at Penn State University.
Yeah, and probably not this.
Probably a lot more people here than...
And probably not during a regular meeting because it'll probably take some time. So.
Okay, I think we can work that out.
Yeah, schedule a special meeting.
Thank you.
May I ask a question? And I apologize because it is hard to hear in this big room. But in this study, this fire study, who participated from the city of DuBois and Sandy Township?
So obviously we met with all the municipal leaders that wanted to talk to us personally. We also met with each fire station and the fire chiefs, and went through and looked at all the equipment, and then we've been collecting data from all the departments since that point. It's a lot of data to go through, and the reason we're doing it, the one thing we want to look at is, and that's why we're waiting on to do a better review of the ISO reports, because we want to make sure that our suggestions don't change what the city of DuBois and Sandy Township have worked hard to achieve with those ratings.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving ahead, unfinished business, I see none. New business, we have a solicitor agreement. Probably should take action on these individually.
Yeah, actually, if I could offer a preliminary comment on all of this. Within the new business section, there are quite a few items that are not going to be voted on by this body, but the idea that both communities wanted to do was to have the agendas from both of their meetings, the city meeting and the township meeting, combined into the joint meeting because you're about to become unified, so you might as well start having the conversations about everything in the same meeting. But that doesn't mean that we're going to be voting on everything within this meeting. And so there are many of these items will be for discussion here, and we want and welcome the public comment here at this meeting so that when we break from these meetings and go to the township and the city meeting, they will be very streamlined and quick because all of the discussion and public comment will have already happened. This first item is the agreement, however, will be for this board to vote on. This is the solicitor agreement for the joint board. The township still maintains their solicitor, the city still maintains their solicitor. This engagement letter is an update to the letter that is with McNeese Law. There were some, I'm not sure what to call it, a smaller scope of work in the last letter that was engaged by this joint board, and so this is to expand the scope a little bit to really comprehensively cover everything that's related to consolidation. Although the scope changed, the prices and such did not change.
Co-kill bid agreement from HRG. I'm assuming that you have bid packages back. That will be a DuBois City.
Yeah. Would you be willing as a joint board to take a motion and vote on the solicitor agreement?
Yes.
I know I had a question, and if you read down through the middle paragraph of the third one, there seemed to be a conflict with what the solicitor wrote when he commented, the joint board will be my client, and then you read further into the paragraph, if a disagreement arises, the solicitor will be the solicitor for the city. Can you clarify that, please?
Yes, I can. McNeese has for years been the special counsel for the city related to water and sewer issues. And so technically they have been a solicitor of a kind, I suppose, for the city. That does not replace Attorney Gig by any means. Sorry, Gig.
Yes.
He and his firm remain the city's solicitor. But this is essentially an attorney's ethics kind of disclosure. So I asked him to clarify, and he wrote me back this. I want to clarify, as counsel of the Joint Consolidation Board, we will take directive from the joint board as determined by both the city and the township. We will not represent the city, independent of the township, as counsel for the joint board. The reason that language was included in the engagement letter is because McNeese has represented the city prior to our representation of the joint board. So in the unexpected event that the township and the city would reach a point of irreconcilable dispute and withdraw from the joint board, the request is that both municipalities agree that in that instance, McNeese would reserve its right to represent the city, again, specifically on the water and sewer related items. There's a relatively small caveat. I'm not an attorney, but I'm sure either of these gentlemen could probably explain the ethics behind that.
So, I mean, does it specifically say about the water and sewer? Does it say that?
It just says generally.
Generally. I mean, I guess it's a comfort level for the joint board.
I just had a problem with
that disclosure. I mean, it's just it'd be a question for the joint board to answer.
Yeah.
So if there's irreconcilable differences, they would be kind of the backup, I guess, for each independent municipality.
Yes.
If he's recommended city water and sewage historically, I don't have a problem.
I don't have, the explanation will hold, but it was concerning to me, the verbiage, I guess.
That's a good question.
Yes.
Certainly.
Yeah. The legalese, if I may say so.
Certainly.
Thank you. I make a motion that we approve the engagement letter, McNeese.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Coke Hill bid agreement,
I'll speak to that if I may.
please.
You will not be voting on this item in this body. It's just for information. Previously, the city engaged with HRG for Coke Hill engineering and a bid package. And then at the time that happened, the city decided not to move forward with that project. And so now we have asked HRG to put together a new bid package. And so this is for an agreement with them to do that bid package for us for $9,500. It's the bid package, all the specs, and all the related items to this project, updated pricing, and so forth. Any questions on that?
Conditional use, 333 West Long Avenue. I don't think this board will take action on that.
We've heard some comment on that, I guess. I don't know if there's anybody else that has a comment on that. Anybody else in the audience that has a comment on that particular application?
Is this for the skills games
Yes.
at that location?
Yes, sir.
As we go into the new city, I personally have a problem with the skills games. It's my opinion. But it's kind of like a double-edged sword. So do we take away a business? You know, do we put rules and regulations in place? Do we go to the governor and say, hey, the horse is out, it's running wild in the barn, you know, we need to rein it in? I personally, as we approach the new city, I think we need guidelines, and I think they need to govern themselves if they have to hire employees. But in my opinion, I am not in favor of it. That's Barry Abbott's opinion, for what it's worth.
So I think it's important to note also, just from a legal standpoint, the whole matter is currently pending before the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. So there was an appeal that was taken up. The Supreme Court accepted it. They have yet to rule on whether or not they're actually games of skill or whether they're gambling devices. So that's an open legal question.
So I guess my question is, once, are they already licensed? Are they already permitted? You know, that seems to be a sticking point. You know, if it's permitted and it's licensed, then maybe we as a governing body, the city needs to tighten our belt.
Well, there's the opportunity to pass in certain ordinances to restrict where they can be actually permitted. Right now, they're kind of, they're allowable, they're not taxed, so they're kind of in between everything. In terms, they're not gambling devices, they're allowed, so it's kind of up to the municipality to determine what zoning areas they would be permissible in.
Do we know how many skill games there are in the city and the township?
In the downtown alone, we have 7 of them. Just in the downtown, 7.
There's 7 downtown. How about in the township?
I don't have
I
that.
wanted them all.
Yes.
Barry, that's establishments, that's not machines. Them 7 establishments, there's probably 35 to 40 machines.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
gas stations.
I just started doing the collection of the mechanical device license for the city, so I only have partial back. So I can get you a number. The deadline is before the next consolidation meeting. I can get you some preliminary numbers. I know we're bringing in a lot of money on them right now.
Yeah, they're not taxed.
They're not
Did I hear that
taxed, but
correct?
there is a city license fee that's imposed under the amusement ordinance. Mechanical amusement device ordinance.
I'd just like to add that, you know, we have to look at this. Yeah, you have to govern it. But you got to take in consideration too, there's a lot of nonprofits that have these that give back to the community. So there has to be a sit down and look at what they're giving back to the community also. You can't take that away from a nonprofit that's helping your community. And also too is people got to consider that some of these might be helping them pay their employees, how the economy downturn is. So, I mean, it's not as simple as going, well, let's tax them and just be done with it. I like the study. I think that's great. You know, we have to use what we have right now, but in the future, I really want to see sit down and structure it the way we need it for our community. But everybody has to take in consideration, they use it for a lot of stuff.
Gentleman in the back?
My opinion is, Rich Allen, East Second Avenue. My opinion, you guys are wanting to beautify the city, clean up all the trash, you know, so to speak. These skills games are nothing but, it's just, if you come into the city of DuBois and you see skills games everywhere, to me, that's just a sign of like a slummy town, yeah. It attracts the undesirables, you know, attracts the homeless, it attracts a lot of drug activity. It is not appeasing to the eye in our city. I think it just we pull in and you see it, how many skills games we actually have it in the city and township. It's appalling, and they're preying on the vulnerable by doing this too.
Thank you. Nancy?
There are restrictions in the highway commercial zone for recreation. I wish you would take a look at those and see how far you would be stretching the envelope to say that this kind of recreation fits in to what is actually in the ordinance. The only way you can really, that you can control these things is through zoning. And you have a means there to do that. Now, the next thing I want to know is, when does the 45 days kick in? Can you tell me that, Zach?
When does it start or when does it end? When does it start or when does it end?
When does it start and when does it end?
Starts at the public hearing, and it's
That's what
45 days after.
So
That's
the
correct.
public hearing was,
The
was
10th.
it the 10th?
Yes.
Okay, it was the 10th. So the only thing you have is 45 days to make a decision, because the law is so damn vague on that, that if you don't make a decision in 45 days, the decision goes to the applicant.
That's
And
correct.
then that is a court situation.
So
And we
it's-
don't want that. We don't need that.
If there's no decision made in 45 days, then it's a deemed approval by
That's
operation of
right.
law.
That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
That's why I
correct.
want to know when the 45 days are up. And that's what I want you guys to sit down and really look at the ordinance. I've got a copy of it. I mean, it's there.
Zach is correct, though, in terms of the
Hmm?
date on which it commences.
Pardon?
Zach's correct in terms of the date on which the clock starts to run,
Yeah,
the date of the public hearing.
the date of the public
Correct.
hearing. Can anybody count? Do we have a mathematician here and tell me what date?
March
it is?
27.
Hmm?
March 27th.
I'm sorry.
March 27th.
March 27th.
So this is a very
Maybe you-
contentious issue, obviously. I mean, there's a lot of different opinions on it.
And that you can't hear. What did you say?
I said it's a very contentious issue,
I know.
the issue of skill games, generally speaking. And so that's why it's helpful to have public comment.
You can only regulation you have is zoning. And the zoning that we have in place right now, though it seems to be wrong for the area, highway commercial on Long Avenue, we never changed it. We made a mistake. It should have been changed. So deal with, look at what you have and see what you can deal with there. Because I think you can. The restrictions that are in there and the conditions for recreation are so broad that, it talks about sidewalks, it talks about the amount of space it takes up, it's all sorts of things that you think, okay, this is not what it means. Why don't you meet with the planning commission? Maybe we can hash it out.
Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea.
No, it's not a bad idea because we have a pretty good planning commission. You guys have council has the last say, there's no question about that. We're an advisory group, and we're sitting here wanting to be asked to advise.
There have been discussions amongst council as to how to handle this matter. Nothing's been decided definitively, but certainly I think I'd recommend it be a good idea to meet with the planning commission
I think
just to hash it out and discuss it.
Heaven knows I'm willing, and so is the rest of the commission we have on board, and Zach. The fact that they took away the litigation that was pending for this guy and his existing skills game, puts a real damper on things.
I'll assume that this will get relayed to the mayor and you guys will bring this up to the planning commission?
That would be my recommendation, yes.
Okay. I don't think we need to take any action on that.
No, that's correct.
This
No
I
action
would be
necessary.
willing, and so would the rest of the planning commission be willing to meet with anybody.
I'll certainly go on record by saying I advise that. I think it's a good idea.
Next on our agenda, conditional use, 800 West West. I'm sorry. Ma'am?
Linda Clark. In this discussion, I'm really curious because nothing has been specifically mentioned about, have there been any overdoses? Is there drugs being passed through these entities? Is it being watched? And the reason I ask is because a couple was in, I know, a council meeting a while back talking about they went in and they just wanted an evening out and they were approached multiple times to buy drugs. So what are we doing from that perspective to round it up and come to some conclusions there? Have there been overdoses?
I cannot answer that question. I can get the answer though.
I think that'd be important to know as
We've-
well.
We've had dealings in there. I would have to check the incidents for sure about any kind of overdoses, but there has been drug activity and other things going on, and we are aware of things, and things are being investigated.
But not just one location, multiple locations?
There's probably been investigations in multiple locations.
Yes, ma'am?
I just had a suggestion that I've never placed on one of those machines. I do see them everywhere. Is there signs next to it about gambling counseling services? Or when you enter the door, maybe even like sometime a mental health, they're throwing out like a flyer or something to put on there for the people that are going in there with,
That's a really good question. I think probably not. I've never played them. I don't even know how they
either,
work.
but I see them everywhere.
But
and
my
I
guess
know-
is probably not because they're not considered gambling devices under the law as of right now.
And you said that in 45 days that law would be established, or what happens
No,
within
there's
45
there's a
days?
conditional use application for skills machine that is pending before the city. That has to be decided within 45 days from the public hearing.
And you said it has gone up to the state mayor or the governor.
So the legal question of whether or not they're gambling devices has gone up to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, and it remains pending up there.
How long has it been pending? Like, we talking months or years?
It's been months, probably 3 or 4 months, but that doesn't mean anything at that appellate level. It could take quite a while to have a decision rendered.
So nothing will be done here until something's done there.
That I can't say.
What was the last decision made? Was it made that
It was made
they
at the
weren't-
it was
they
made
weren't gambling? is
At
that
the
correct?
Commonwealth Court decision determined that they were not
Yeah.
gambling devices.
So we're hoping for the Supreme Court to say they are gambling.
So the Supreme Court took the case up, meaning they don't have to take the case up, meaning there was a petition for allowance of appeal, They don't have to accept every appeal. They did accept the case, so it means they're probably going to do something with it. What they're going to do, I have no idea.
Anyone else on gambling devices?
They're not gambling.
Oh, excuse me, games is good. Conditional use, 800 West Weber Avenue.
Attorney David York, I'm president here for the Life Community Church. Pastor James Goodman is here with me as well. And this is a conditional use application for a church to be open to the public for religious worship, Sundays, Wednesdays, and other times that the church would be open. Former use was a social hall. So really, in my opinion, there's really going to be no change in use in terms of the volume of people going in and out. There's 4 parcels that are going to be going into sale if this is approved. And 3 of those parcels consist of a large parking lot just across alley from the church. So there's ample parking, so there shouldn't be a parking impact. The pastor himself has had a ministry in the city for 11 years. They've rented a facility, so this will be a facility that they're purchasing that's being funded by dollars from the Assemblies of God denominational affiliated lender. Pastor is also resident of the city of DuBois, so he's been committed to the community for this amount of time. And we believe that this will be a benefit to the community and to the people that worship there. And the pastor is here to share anything that he would like about his ministry, but just basically I'll add this church is affiliated with the Assemblies of God denomination. It's a theologically conservative Christian church. We have about a little under 400 churches in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and about 12,000, give or take, churches in the United States. And so we'd ask that you would approve for the use of a church here at 800 West Weber. Thank you.
Yeah, we're just gonna, we just want to bring hope to people, bring life to Jesus Christ, and that's what we hope we'll do, and help people not go gambling, help people get off drugs, and bring life to a community, bring life to the areas. And so we're excited about it. We're going to keep the bowling alley, do some stuff down there with youth, and so we have some good plans, but we just want to see the positive thing happen in our community. So thank you for your time.
Good. Zach, in terms of do you see any issues with, I guess we're not voting on this right now.
That's correct.
But we're open for discussion, so Zach, I would just welcome your comments.
No, I would wholeheartedly rather see the church there than any other type of establishment that may be able to get in. I think it'd be good for the community. There's numerous churches in the area there. Some of them have been closed down recently, so I think it'll be a good addition to that area.
Okay.
Not have an adverse effect or anything on any neighbors or anything.
Okay. Well, we will vote on that, I guess, later tonight. But thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
RDA reappointment request. This board will not take action on that, but Lisa, would you like to speak on that?
Sure, thank you. The RDA is requesting reappointment of Mike Federici to the board. His term is up and they would like to reappoint him for, I think it's 1 more. The term of 4.
Probably just one.
One, yeah, it's going to be 1.
They asked for a 5-year term.
I think that'll be something that, we talk about as we do the new city work, so.
And that will come up in the city council meeting?
Correct.
Okay. Intergovernmental cooperation for the police department. We have a draft township ordinance that will come up in the Sandy Township meeting.
And the city. So this will not be a vote on the ordinance. It will be a approval to advertise it. This is essentially updating the 1985, I believe, mutual aid agreement between the 2 departments, formalizing it so that the leadership structure and everything they can essentially start working together more closely and have cross-jurisdictional boundaries. So it's it's all things that we've talked about in these public meetings before, but to make it formal, we just need to pass the ordinance. In order to pass the ordinance, we need you to authorize us to advertise it. So that'll be for both the township and the city. We'll need to authorize that tonight.
Okay. Pay for elected officials.
So you may recall that at the January meeting, you all voted to set the pay for the 2026 elected officials. Our solicitor found that there was some nuance, I believe, related to the fact that it is a new city that suggested that you each will have to pass ordinances in order to set that pay. So this is no change from what was already decided. And I was very clear on the agenda to make sure that everyone understood. We're not really revisiting the issue, but we are asking that each board re-advertise, or advertise the ordinances. It's just a formality.
Okay, so each individual municipality will handle that at their meeting.
Yes.
Yes, we got the contracts due for Juniata Lake. They've been taking care of it now for the past probably 8 years, if not longer. They're the reason why the fountain's in the water for the oxygen. They've done a great job with the fish habitat in there and controlling the algae and the weed growth in the water. They're very good at what they do.
Again, this will be a DuBois City item for their Rockton Road lot consolidation. So we need a letter of recommendation there.
Yeah, that come from Planning Commission yesterday from the township. Northwest Savings Bank is subdividing off a little piece of their property, selling it to Ray Medred there at the warehouse, and then he's going to consolidate that. It's really an unbuildable piece of property with all the utilities and right-of-ways that are on it because of that intersection. So, and Northwest has no need for it, so.
That will be handled at the Sandy Township meeting later this evening. Also at our Sandy Township meeting later this evening, we will have a 4.5 acre subdivision, which was discussed at the planning and zoning yesterday,
Yes.
correct? Who are was that Caldwell Banker? Developac Realty subdividing 4.5 acres from 100 some
residual tract.
This is right behind the Lowe's Home Improvement Center?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to disclose here again before everybody, but I'll give you the specific wording. If the board is amenable to approving it, we should note that the Planning Commission did recommend denying it. However, we have since then spoken with legal counsel, who first of all advised that, of course, Planning Commission is advisory only, and that their concern was primarily that there's not sewer service currently. The attorney advised that we should approve the subdivision plan and simply add a condition. He said the motion should look like this: motion to approve the subdivision plan conditioned upon a note being added to the effect that further development of the lot is conditioned upon sewer service being adequately addressed. So again, it is legal counsel, and I believe my advice, and I believe your advice, to pass it, pass the subdivision, just conditioned.
Also, I know we have more than adequate funds to put that sewer line in. It went out for bid today.
That's true, yes.
So if that was a holdup.
The bid specified that there will be sewer there by June, and so.
I think we can write that is the priority. Christ the King rezoning request.
Yeah, last month they consolidated a recently acquired lot right at the corner of Central Christian and West Long Avenue. That lot is zoned R1. Christ the King has approached us about rezoning that to the institutional so that they can expand their facility in the future. So the first step in that rezoning procedure is presenting it to you guys, and then you send it back to Planning Commission for their comments, County Planning Commission for comments, and then it comes back for public hearings and that. So this first step was presenting the request to the board.
Institutional, does that allow for the cottages that they currently have on that side of the street?
It must.
Okay, I think that's their intended use.
I thought it was a rec center.
Yes, you're right, Zach. It's to be a fitness rec center.
Rec center.
Yes.
To be used by
Residents.
residents.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, it's by the Zapic's old,
right.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that we're
Zoning it properly.
zoning it properly for what they want to use it for.
Their letter of request is there. They didn't really elaborate to what their use was, but that was what we
Okay.
talked about anyway.
So would you want to reach out to them to make sure we're,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. Final request is for a modification of setback requirements of 125 Tom Mix Drive. I know that's a DuBois City address. I'm not aware of what's going on there.
Atlas Press Metals has approached us about building expansion. They're unable to go towards Beaver Drive anymore. There's a permanent floodway easement there, which is 180 feet from Beaver Drive. They're at that limit. They're looking at putting on an expansion for expanding the manufacturing facility again. They want to come out the front corner where their shipping road goes in, and it is going to encroach on the setback requirements. Tom Mix Drive, portion of that was vacated a few years ago whenever originally Paris built a new healthcare facility back there. So it's kind of going to offset their Paris was built with a reduced setback. Atlas is requesting a 21-foot reduction in setback. So.
That will be brought up at the city council meeting later this evening. Okay, that's everything for our new business. In closing, public comments. Mrs. Clark?
I'd like to take this time to speak directly to everybody on the board. And I think it's important that you can hear me through. I ask each and every one of you that's present tonight, do you believe that the citizens of this community should have the freedom to address you as a governing body with comments, with concerns, with questions, with rumors, or even facts? It's a simple question. I would hope that you all say yes. I include you, township supervisors, because your citizens are now being affected. I come here tonight to address an extremely concerning issue plaguing the citizens of our joint communities, and the concern is the ability to speak out freely, without retribution, without retaliation, without verbal attacks, without attacks on our character, family affiliation, friendships. The harassment is by email, it's by text message, it's by social media outlets, and most concerning, the elusive, anonymous letters. Just a few days after I stood up and spoke at a city council meeting, I received an anonymous letter. A letter with so many words, yet contained absolutely no content. I did not provide truth. It did not provide truth, merely opinions. The coward or the cowards that were involved in the writing of the letter used terminology and vulgarity that I will not repeat. It's beyond disgusting. The content had no merit, but definitely mimics the same false narratives that the surrogates and their talking points and what has been permitted. You, as supervisors and council members, do have a very unique responsibility. You have a responsibility to end the rumors and to stop untruths, not allow them to continue. The personal attacks are not random. They are intentional. They are calculated. I do hold each and every one of you accountable to the citizens. I am requesting that you publicly denounce or accept the kind of behavior that I am speaking of. It's not a difficult task. It's easy. I challenge each of you to lead with morals and integrity, to be a servant without being self-serving. Again, be a servant without being self-serving. There has been an HR individual in our community that's decided to use his or her position to threaten another citizen that has made posts on a personal opinion post on social media, as much as to threaten the post to go to an employer. I would think an HR representative would know better than to do that. Other anonymous letters have been received by numerous people. I believe some of you on council or the township board have received some as well. I implore you to speak out and make it known. Why? Why are we being targeted? Because we have a different opinion? Because there are truths behind some of what we say? You decide. A self-proclaimed politician deems it necessary to contact others, telling them how to align themselves with others, or they will be voted out. I don't see that as acceptable. In my particular case, I've had an interim police chief read my personal social media posts from one media outlet, yet not read the posts from the opposing view. That in itself was intimidation. I'm not going to fall for that. I refuse to accept it. Should I be angry? Yes, I should be angry. Will I allow anger to steal my truth? I will not. I won't allow it to steal my voice, and I will not allow it to steal my joy. No, that's not me. There's a saying, hurt people, hurt people. I will not stoop to the level of the letter I received. No. But I will not pretend to be easygoing and passive or quiet to allow a select few to feel comfortable doing the bare minimum, using threats and vindictiveness as their guide. Nope, that's not me either. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I have been gifted with intelligence and a voice. I refuse to shrink. I will not shrink myself to be easily managed. And I encourage everybody else, whether you're listening at home or whether you're in this room, use your voice. God gave it to you. You are worthy of speaking up. If intimidation was the goal, you definitely picked the wrong woman. I will always stand up for what I believe in, even if I stand alone. No one throws stones at a tree if it bears no fruit, and no thief robs a house if it's empty. No? Something I am questioning, something I am saying is threatening somebody, or maybe multiple somebodies. Something others are saying and questioning are obviously threatening individuals as well. We will not be silent just because of the status quo. I can only speak for the content of my letter. It is littered with untruths, false statements, foul language, vulgarity, attaching me to people I have never even met in my life, which makes me giggle. I say this speaks either directly to the content of the character of the person or persons that wrote the letter, or it just shows how broken that individual or individuals are. It took much prayer before I decided to address you tonight. I wasn't sure if I really wanted to do that. There's a part of me that wants to lash out because of what it said, the content of what it said, the vulgarity of what it says. That's not who I am. Oh, I will keep people accountable. I will still stand up and speak, but I won't be intimidated. Intimidation is not acceptable. Silencing the people will never be acceptable. I ask each and every one of you independently, can you publicly denounce the behavior? Or do you accept it? I think that answer needs to be public. I encourage each supervisor and each council person to find me after this meeting. Hear the contents, or at least view them. Hear the tone. See the depravity that we are facing. Whether you want to admit it or not, you have surrogates out there. Your surrogates speak your talking points over and over again. Is this who you want to be attached to? Is this how you want your legacy, your service, to be remembered? I think it's time to grow up. Let the courts handle the past. Give up the vendettas. Put on your big boy pants or your big girl panties, whichever one you identify with. Move on. Do your jobs. A wise woman once said to me, facts do not have feelings. Speak facts and only facts. stop the nonsense. I will be releasing a copy of the letter to appropriate media outlets. I encourage anybody else that's received these letters to do so. I will also be turning it over to an outside law enforcement agency of my choosing. I thank you. And again, I'd like to take the time to go down the row and see if this kind of behavior is acceptable to each member of this committee, starting with Mr. Beers.
I denounce it all.
No.
Understand.
Yeah, I don't think there's any room for any bullying. Thank you.
No, I'm sorry you had to go through that, and I denounce it too.
My turn? I spoke of the hatred. I spoke of the animosity. I thought I was very clear at a joint board meeting that our community does not need that. After I spoke, I happened to receive the infamous letters. I won't bore you with the details, but I will tell you one thing. They screwed up. They used their printing to address the envelope to me. Somewhere along the line, somebody, I don't know, man, woman, child, I'm going to be somewhere and I'm going to say, hey, I recognize that B. I recognize the TL at Treasure Lake. And I will guarantee you, as people hear me, I will throw their ass in jail. So, you want to know how I feel? You now got it. Thank you. Excuse my French.
I was at the meeting Barry spoke those words, and I think he made it very clear to everyone in the room that night that this group does not condone this type of behavior. So I stand with you.
Yeah, there's no room for harassment, insults, any kind of ugly behavior. Keep everything civil. Keep your opinions, if you think you need to privately harass people, to yourself. I don't agree with any of that behavior.
I agree with all the other board members. It is sad when we stoop to that. And I'm sorry that you experienced that. Nobody should have to go through that.
As you said, Linda, I'm ready to move forward.
Are you denouncing it?
Absolutely, as one that has been personally attacked, absolutely.
I appreciate that. Thank you to each of you. I will hold you accountable to this.
May I add, there's also investigations going on multiple fronts, some that involve city that were turned over to the state police, these letters, some that involve people from both sides, or if that's what you want to call it, that don't agree with this one or that one. Those investigations are ongoing. We have fingerprinted letters that weren't open. We have done all that. We're turning stuff over to the postal inspectors to see if they can't find where the letters came from and if they can't find the people who did it. So those are under investigation. Referring to your comments about me, the reason I commented that night on those posts is because they were spreading falsehoods about the police department. I wanted to come in and make sure that everybody knew, hey, that's not what's going on. This is what's going on. Meant nothing for intimidation, and my remarks there were against everybody that was doing that from any side, because the truth is what matters, and the truth is what needs to be out there.
That is correct.
That's correct.
Intern Chief Victor, or I don't know what your title is now.
Sorry.
However, it was not just me that was targeted that night. So the others did not put mention of that specific thing then.
No, they mentioned other things about the police.
And I will say that what I spoke was not untrue. So we'll leave it at that.
Other comments from the public? Jason.
Jason Rennie, Sandy Township Fire Chief. I just want to congratulate all the 9 local fire companies on receiving the Pennsylvania State grant. So good work from all those companies and that money coming back to our community. So
Thanks, Chiefs. Chief Krzelik.
I would like to thank this board for the appointment. Looking forward to consolidation. Very exciting time for the police departments. I want to thank Dustin Roy and Sean McCleary. They've been great to work with in the past year. I'm looking forward to moving both departments forward into consolidation. So a lot of exciting times, and I can rest assured that the residents of the DuBois area are in good hands with both police departments.
Thank you. Mr. Mecklin?
Charlie Mecklin, Monroe Street. I just want to take a minute and thank all the city and township workers and all of our firefighters for being out there. We've had a crappy winter this year. It's been really cold. The ice has been a lot worse than it normally is. And when they're out there working, it's got to suck, pardon me. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for what you do. Thank you.
Mrs. Mecklin?
Debbie Meckling, Monroe Street. I just wanted to make you aware, I've been dealing with what Mrs. Clark has been talking about since November 20th. I have filed police reports. I've been working with Officer McCleary, and I've had letters fingerprinted. We've been bullied, we've been harassed, we've been threatened. My business has been attacked, but I have not personally maligned anyone. I address council frequently. I'm very measured with what I say. I have not attacked anyone personally. I have attacked what has gone on in our council to the taxpayers of the city. And I am planning on pressing charges as soon as I find out who is behind this. I believe there are multiple people. And I've been working with the police. I've also been working with the postmaster because it is federal, because they are sending things through the mail also. And you shouldn't have to put ring cameras up on your property because you're afraid of where the next retaliatory move is going to come from. So it's not just the other side that's getting it. We've been dealing with it for quite some time.
Ma'am?
Hi, Teresa Saplizio, DuBois. A couple things. My family has been dealing with it forever, so take that for what you will. I guess everybody in here, or maybe everybody in the public, thinks we deserve it, but it's not right. And so I stand with them. I don't think anybody will help us, though, so we'll just deal with it. Another thing, the water bills, Ben, you had said about the lockbox and all that. Is that going to affect the direct pays or anything like that? Will any of that change? Auto pays, direct pays are all still the same. Okay, thank you. And then another thing that I think has been in the news, and I even believe that Treasure Lake has had some trouble with getting salt. How is our salt situation with the city? Are we good? We have enough? We're mixing it different? You can't predict.
We have enough for 2 more good storms right now.
Okay.
And we have salt ordered. It's just up to American rock salt when we get it. Everybody's on rations right now.
Okay, so
That's
right
both
now
city
they
and the
can't still
township.
order it. Okay, thank you very much.
American Rock Salt has put on hold any commercial account. Municipalities in the state get first dibs.
Will any of that help Treasure Lake? I know they can't get it, but I don't know, can the township help them or no?
I'm going to say no because they're a private entity.
Right, I just didn't know if they could buy off of them. I don't know, I'm sure there's rules and regulations.
We've looked into that before, and we cannot sell taxpayer salt to a private community.
Even though that's your taxpayers.
That is correct.
Okay. I mean, I know they're mixing it different. They're not saying they're out or they're low or anything like that. They're just doing a different combination with a mix, you know, to help them get through, I'm sure.
To my knowledge, they have not approached us for any assistance, have they?
Not me.
Okay. I know we've had some issues trying to get North Point Fire Station on the road. A couple times they've had to back up and take a run for their road coming up out of Town Market there to get onto Coral Reef Road. But we're working on that. I'm not sure that that's related to the salt shortage, though.
Yeah, I'm not here to advocate for that. I'm just saying I knew that there was a shortage. There's different municipalities in the state, so I didn't know if there was anything here. I mean, they've got a whole nother issue up there with the dredging and the carrying that all through the roads, and that makes it icy and all that. But like I said, they haven't said they're out or they're saying they can't get anymore.
Anyone else?
Warren? Yeah. Anthony Simplizio from the city, past fire chief. I just wanted to say that I totally know what Mrs. Clark is going through. I've read the letter that she got. I spent 4 years in the Navy. I've been in the fire department for over 60 years coming up next month. The language that was in that letter should not be seen by a woman. We have two pastors in present here tonight, and by God, I hope you say a prayer for them, whoever did that, because there's something wrong with them, definitely wrong with them. I mean, that is uncalled for, and the people that do something like that without signing their name to it, cowards. Cowards is what they are.
Yep. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Comment here. I just want to say intimidation goes beyond letters and emails. It's also when people take pictures of you visiting somebody's home and then post it online. That's a form of intimidation. That's a form of bullying. And I know personally, I had pictures taken of me in the Simplizio's driveway. I will go where I want, when I want, whenever I want. And I say that right to the person who took that picture.
Any other public comments? Supervisor, or excuse me, elected official comments? Jen, we'll start at your end.
I just wish this could all stop. I'm sad to see that we have two people here trying to move this city forward. We have the police department working together. We have the fire department working together. I have said things to them that I've regretted. Can we just let the court system handle whatever, and can we all please just move on? It is sad that our community is, I literally could cry. I am sad that our community is really like this. We look at one another, we give them, we need to move on. Like, we're trying to build a new city for everybody. The past is the past. Like, we just gotta move on. Like, we all have kids that go to school together, grandkids. Like, when is it gonna stop? I mean, so we don't like one another, but enough is enough. I don't know. Dick, you're the pastor. Pray for us all.
I just want to say I appreciate the job Lisa and Ben and their company is doing. But we do have a lot of ground to cover between now and January 1st. We got unions, we got all kinds of things. And really, we don't have time for the hate. We don't have time for the stuff that goes on. And it is sad when somebody gets a letter like that. It's tragic. It doesn't speak well of our community. And we're better than that. We're a lot better than that.
I'd like to congratulate the fire department. Great job on getting the grants that came through this week. That's going to go a long way to supporting the local fire department, so congratulations on that. Thanks to Sergeant McCleary for a job well done as interim chief. It was great to work with you. You did an outstanding job. Tough situation. Congratulations, Chief Grzalik. I look forward to working with you for the next year. That's all I got.
Bill?
Just congrats, Chris. I know it's going to be trying for the next year and then beyond. The hatred now has to stop. And it's on both sides, like everybody's saying. You know, facts are facts. And that's what people have to live by. God created us all equal. And that's what they need to live by. But they don't. And the hatred has to stop. That's all I have.
Yeah, congratulations, Chief Krzelek. I look forward. Congratulations on the appointment. Thank you, Sergeant McCleary, for the work that you've done. Thank you, everyone, for your statements, your comments. Very strong. I think that's great. And to the fire department, for a lot of people did a lot of work for the grants. I know it was a lot of hours to get to where we're at. So thank you to everyone that was involved in that. Just everyone coming out tonight. I know it's really cold out, but it's always good to see a full house.
Sam?
I want to congratulate Chris and thank you for your job you did with McCleary, acting Chief McCleary at the time. You had to do what you had to do, and also I think going forward, I think things will get better. I've seen a lot of improvements with the new management team coming in and trying to change some things, and I hate to see people getting letters because it is upsetting, and not more than upsetting. It bothers you so much that you can't sleep, and that's all you think about. No one deserves that. So I hope that all stops and the law can find out who's doing this. And like I said, in less than 10 months we'll be a new city, so hopefully things will start smoothing out. That's all.
Barry?
Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
I was so proud of you to stand there in front of your family and friends and fellow police officers. It just made my heart feel good, and I got chills, and it was a great honor. So thank you very much. And to the people here to come out and be part of our new community, our joint venture. Folks, we are 10 months from creating a footprint for the new city of DuBois. As I go around the state, I hear people say, you're going to be a voice of reckoning. I hear people, in various counties, how did you do that? What's the secret? And you're looking at the secret. I feel our joint board has worked extremely well, extremely hard. Our management team that we hired is leading us in the right direction. That is their job. Our job's to support, not to tell them what to do. Yeah. So, Ben and Lisa, thank you very much. And for our residents to come out to every meeting, speak your piece. And I encourage you to do that. And finally, it was mentioned, our firemen, you guys, the last couple of weeks, I hope you had long underwear on, because I'll tell you, the wind blowing and the wrecks and our police out there with you, thank God you're here. Thank you.
Ditto for Chris being appointed and hired as our new chief of police. it just made me feel good. And thanks, Sean, for helping get the city through that point to where we are now. Levi's fire presentation that we got this evening, I'm gonna see if I can get a hard copy of that. There's some things that I think the fire subcommittee would probably want to see that we can start working on, bylaws. I'm not sure what else was in that, but some things that I think he was saying that we should start working on sooner than later. And rather than wait a whole nother month, we'll get that information to you, so you guys can start planning. Lisa?
May I speak?
Yes, you may.
I just want to say that the work that we're doing here is complex and deep, and we could not do it without the staff. This staff is incredible for both communities. If we ask them for anything, they provide it. They are digging through old files to gather information for us. They are working hard for all of you and for all of you every day for consolidation, but also the day-to-day stuff, the roads, just everything that encompasses the city. And so I just really commend them for the work they're doing, and they are doing it really well. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Any of you gentlemen have anything you'd like to add? Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that
Dick?
motion.
Second.
Second by Bill. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.